Hey y'all, Infinite Enzo here with Knox Knife Mods, and today we're talking Demko knives, Demko designs. I should say designs because I don't own any custom Demkos, but we're going to get into it, guys. Stick with me here and let's dive in. All right, y'all, as you can see, got a few pouches here. Let's dive on into them. I'm not going to lie to you guys. This video is a little bit off the cuff. It's probably going to be very random and tangential. But the honest truth is that, and forgive my language, I've been dealing with a whole lot of bullshit lately, and some of it is work related. I've got a health issue that is not serious at all, not serious, but it is affecting my job. And so it's causing me to have to, I don't know, kind of reevaluate certain things. That's been a bit of a factor. Also, just some family stuff going on. And as a result, I do not have time to edit the video that I wanted to edit for today. So I'm literally filming this and we're going to throw it up on YouTube. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Also, as always, big shout out to Wolfman Walsh. He really steps in and keeps the channel moving when I get bogged down with whatever stupid thing is bogging me down. And I really appreciate him for that. Yeah, our good brother, Wolfman Walsh. Let's see, last. We got one more here. All right, now we are Demko'd out here. Okay, let's get these in the proper order. We have the AD10. Okay, there we have it. Let's go like that. AD15, AD20, 0.5 that is. And we'll put our Formaxes up here, the Formax Scout and the Formax Elite. All right, guys, so what are we talking about Demko knives here? Well, as y'all might know, Demko is one of my favorite designers. And there are things that I want to get into on kind of both sides of the aisle, positives and negatives of my experience, at least, with Demkos. With Demko designs. I don't own any custom Demkos, just Demko designs. But we're going to start with the AD10, which is my favorite Demko. I love this thing. I think that the AD10 is functionally perfect. I really have nothing ill to say about this knife. Of course, these are now licensed through Cold Steel, and Cold Steel's Taiwan factory does an excellent job producing the AD10. You can now get these in a variety of finishes and handle color options. They're all G10, but the G10 is very well rounded, very well radiused, feels great in hand. So yeah, this is my favorite Demko by a pretty decent margin. I also love the 15, but it's got an issue I'm going to talk about. But this one's been heavily modded. I'll give you guys a quick overview of what happened to this knife. We've got a satin blade, which I believe is only available on black-handled S35V. And also, yeah, they have it in NOS 10 as well, on the Cold Steel AD10 Light. But yeah, satin blade. And that only comes with the black handle. So I had the satin blade. I bought a new AD10, one of the green models. There's green and tan handle models that come with a black blade. Did a blade swap, put this ice carving on the flats, which I think turned out really cool. Gives it that custom finish, gets rid of the logo. Got these beautiful stock green handles that I absolutely love. These Tiffany blue, and it is blue, I know it looks green next to the green handles, but these liners are from Nathan's Knives. You can go to his website and check those out. And acid washed the pocket clip here, acid washed and rock carved the aluminum backspacer. And I think the way that aluminum acid etched turned out really cool. Like hints of blue and gold in there. It's really neat. Really dig that. Acid washed the back lock and did a bit of rock carving on this section, and then hand filed some jimping up at the top here. So again, going for that custom look. I want it to look like a custom AD10. Now, of course, if you know your AD10s, when you look at the pivot, you're going to know that's a Cold Steel model. But still, great little knife. Great big knife. Excellent action, too, on those G10 liners. But yeah, so that's the AD10. My favorite one Functionally perfect. I really wouldn't change a thing about it. That full flat grind does a great job. S35 is one of my favorite steels. I know a lot of people think that it's getting long in the tooth, but I think S35 is fantastic. It's well-rounded, reasonably tough, easy to sharpen, rust resistant. It's a good steel. So yeah, S35, happy to have that. But yeah, 8010, all positives, no negatives. Let's talk about the 15. This is a modded 15, of course. I'll give a mod overview on this one as well. So we have rock carved flats, a very deep acid wash. I love the way it turned out. That very dark color looks really good. Micarta scales from Scale Garden. If y'all can show that dude some love, he recently had his car broken into and a lot of his inventory was stolen. So man, go buy some scales from that dude. He deserves some help. Acid wash pocket clip here. Let's see. I guess that's it. Yeah, Micarta scales, acid wash clip, and the acid wash blade. Also, this lanyard stone came from Nux.nomada on Instagram. He makes some really cool stuff, and I felt like it went with the whole motif here. So let's talk about the 15. Visually, I think it's probably the coolest Demko design. I love the 15. Now, functionally, I do have some qualms. Oh, let's do that again. There we go. So my complaint with the 15, and this will extend to the 20.5 and then just the 20. Well, I've never handled a 20, so I'm not going to speak to that. My complaint with the 15 and the 20.5 is spring-based locking systems. And I'm also going to extend this to Benchmade models as well because they're spring-based. However, they're an Omega spring, not a coiled spring. So the 15 has a coiled up spring in here that allows the tension in the lock bar to stay consistent throughout. The problem is that I've noticed over time those springs will kind of lose their, I guess integrity is the right way to put it, and what will end up happening is in the locked up position without your hand on the lock bar, I don't know if y'all can hear this. Let me pull it up to my mic to see if you can hear it. You will get lock rock. You will get that blade moving up and down. Now, does this matter in this position? Probably not, because when you're using the knife, your hand is going to be up here or up here. And at that point, this blade is not budging because you are forcibly pushing the lock bar into place. So yeah, at this point, it doesn't matter. There's no lock rock in this position whatsoever. So what do y'all think about that? I don't know. It's one of those things that, yeah, it doesn't really matter. I know a lot of Striders have that issue. They have lock rock until you grip the handle and push the frame lock into position. So that's one of those things with 15s. It annoys me a little bit, but then again, it really is a nitpicky kind of thing. The knife otherwise functionally is going to work wonderfully for you. So I guess that's really my only negative. Positives are the handle is really nice, especially with these new micarta scales. I did dig the G10 on the stock models, although it is very aggressive. It'll rip your pockets up. This will do a lot of favors in keeping your pockets from deteriorating. Yeah, these micarta scales are wonderful, and just the cool factor of that lock bar is off the charts. There's a lot of ways that you can disengage the lock. I'm not going to do them all right now just because I've got so many knives on the table and my recording space is pretty small. But yeah. Oh, and as I didn't mention, this is one. This mod is called the Gigas mod, and the 8010 mod here is the Ranger mod. So just so you guys know the names. Now let's move on to the 20.5. By far, my least favorite. I have issues with the 20.5. I know it's a very hyped knife and people really love it, and so on and so forth, but I don't know. I think this lock system is inherently flawed. What I've experienced, I'll see if I can drop a clip in, but this is the first generation 20.5. Originally Austin steel. I got a new blade from Transparent Knives in 3V. So here's the problem with the 20.5. Now let's see if it works the same as the 15. I'm not sure, but anyway, I mentioned we have a spring similar to the way the 15 works. There's a spring in here inside the lock, or actually up here inside that lock, that allows it to retract and then extend it into position. However, again, I find that those springs kind of lose integrity, or I don't know what it is, if they lose their coil strength or what, but you'll wind up with, let's see if I can show you. If y'all can hear that, you wind up with lock rock. Again, let me try putting I'm going to hold my thumb on the lock bar. Nope, still does it on the 20.5. So, yeah. So, yeah, the lock bar really, putting your thumb on the lock bar doesn't do anything. Again, it's slight. Like right now, I don't notice it. There it is. I can kind of notice it a little bit. It's just one of those things. How much does it bother you? What do you guys think? Is minor lock rock a serious problem? However, all that said, I'll put a clip in of when it started. Initially, it was doing this crazy thing. After using it for a while, I would push down on the blade, and it would pop down like that. And it was really weird because it didn't take any effort to do that. And I sent it back into Demko, and they didn't really seem to do anything. They sent it back, and it was kind of corrected, but I could still hear some serious click. So I don't know. That kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. I just haven't been thrilled with the 20.5 ever since. Maybe I should try one of the new ones. I know there's a bunch of new models out now and a bunch of different steels and stuff, so maybe I should give it a second go. But I don't know. I just don't know. Anyway, mods done to this one. We have, excuse me, we have bone linen micarta scales. This is my favorite color of micarta. These are from Rip's Garage Tech, and I just put a black dye on the stock backspacer. I really love that stock backspacer. Other than that, nothing else. This blade steel, again, is a reblade from Transparent Knives. This is 3V. But yeah, nothing else other than that. It's a fun knife, man. I mean, the action is addictive. It's easy to see why people love the 20.5. Gosh, I'm going to put scratches on my table here. Yeah, it's definitely my least favorite. It feels great in the hand. With new scales, it fills the hand. And I will say the stock scales are way too thin. With the stock scales, it's like, I don't know, just holding a paper clip. It's way better with some new scales. But yeah, that's the 20.5. By far my least favorite. Let me know what y'all think if you own a 20.5, if you've had a better experience than me. I hope you have. But yeah, moving on. The 4Max. 4Max is my second favorite. Again, you know what it comes down to? It's the triad lock. You just can't beat the reliability of a triad lock. They're rock solid, man, and the design of the locking system is so well done in the sense that over time, even as the lock wears, I'm not going to do a good job of explaining this. Even as the lock wears down, because of the positioning of the stop bar in relation to the blade tang and the lock bar, the stop pin, I should say, right there, all that will happen is that the lock bar will simply drop a little bit further into place as time goes on, and the integrity of the lockup will just keep increasing until you hit a certain point where, yeah, you would be beyond the integrity of the lock bar. But even then, I think that you're never going to hit that point. You would have to like destroy something to get to that point. So it's a really sturdy lock, and it's long lasting. So this is a 4Max Scout. Our materials here are AUS-10A steel and Grivery on the scales, and we'll go over what I've done to this one. This is the Blood Eagle mod. Oh, by the way, this one I call the Hoplite mod, but I didn't really do a whole lot to it, so I don't know if that counts. Anyway, Blood Eagle mod. We have AUS-10A steel. With the blade here, I did a ice carving on the flat and a couple little nicks for character on the swedge. I really like how that turned out. Again, we got rid of the Maker's Mark, the logos and all that stuff. Same thing on the 15, if you notice, we got rid of all that. Again, I think that's one of the biggest things you can do to kind of go for that custom feeling. So yeah, ice carving here, some nicks up here, a very aggressive acid stone wash. And on the Grivery scales, I just did some scalloping on the top and bottom. And the Grivery actually sands really well. Now the problem is you get the curl ups that happen on plastic, because Grivery is really just a thermoplastic. But they grind off pretty easily. So yeah, you have to put some time in, but you know, it's not nearly as bad as sanding G10. Like, that crap will kill you. So if you wear a mask and just make sure you have open ventilation, like a fan circulating, or you're by an open door or something that goes outside, yeah, just sand that out, and you can come up with some really cool stuff. I'm really happy with how this handle turned out. Plus, this thing is very lightweight for being as big as it is. But yeah, that is the Formax. You've got 4 inches of steel here. Absolutely insane. Very huge handle that allows for multiple grip options. You can even choke up if you want to. But yeah, the Formax is fantastic. It's probably my second favorite. Oh yeah, a couple things I didn't mention on the lock bar. I did a rock carving on the base of the bar up here at the top. I added in some hand-filed micro jimping. The reason I did that is because custom Formaxes have that, but the Formax Scout and the Elite did not have this. Earlier cold steel Formaxes did have the micro jimping, so it bothered me that the Elite and the Scout did not include it. So I used a checkering file to do that by myself, and it turned out pretty well. I think I'm pretty happy with it. If you guys will forgive my voice, by the way, Walsh and I were at a concert a couple nights ago, and I've seen Coheed and Cambria, but I blasted out my vocal cords. So anyways, that is the Blood Eagle mod, the Formax Scout. And lastly, we'll look at the Formax Elite. Now, I know a lot of people say, why would I get an Elite when I can get a Scout? Elites typically run $350 to $400. Scouts are like $50 to $80, depending on if you get a good deal. I would never pay, I love the Elite, I would never pay $350 for it. I got this for a screaming deal that no longer exists, so I'm not going to bring it up. But I got this for a insanely good price. All right, however, let's get into what I do really like about the Elite. You have titanium features. You've got titanium liners, titanium clip, titanium backspacer. Your handle scales are G10 and they are bead blasted. The texture of this G10 feels so good in hand. They are more slabs rather than rounded. So it is a flat knife. It does not feel rounded like the 8010 does. But I don't know. I think it's a very attractive scales. I think the shape in general is very attractive. Of course, obviously the shape is the same as the Scout, but the stock Elite scales to me are miles and miles ahead of the stock Grivery scales. I can't stand the way the Grivery scales feel on these Scouts, which is why I wanted to scallop this, because I just think it, not only does it look cooler, it actually feels better to me, even though it looks like it wouldn't. But yeah, that's the big selling point to me on the Scout, and also the S35VN. I do think S35VN is a lot better than AUS 10A. I know a lot of people say, oh, you can't tell the difference. You can. AUS 10A rusts like no tomorrow, and I don't have proof on hand to show you. It's just you're going to have to trust my anecdotal story. But I've had multiple AUS 10A blades just rust like crazy. So that's kind of my big turn off on them. I mean, they're reasonably, tough and edge holding, but the stainless aspect of it is not there. So S35VN to me, again, wins by a long shot. But yeah, awesome big ass knife, the Formax Elite. Anyway, I just love Demko aesthetics. I think that they're big, burly, unapologetic knives, and they're tough, and you can beat on them and not worry about them too much. At least with these three. Now, these two, I'm confident you could beat on the 15 as long as your hand is firmly in place here. I wouldn't be beating on it with my hand back here, I can tell you that. You definitely want your hand up on that lock bar. But your hand is holding that bar in place. It's not going anywhere. So let's say the 15's sturdy too. Would I beat on this? No, I would not. Again, y'all 20.5 lovers, if you've had a different experience, awesome. But if you're in my boat, feel free to jump in and row with me. Anyway, guys, just wanted to do a little video for y'all today for fun, and I'm gonna get back to some higher quality stuff here in the very, very close future. Got another bourbon video to do for y'all, and I'll have that up soon. Again, thank you guys for just kind of letting me do an off-the-cuff video here, and we'll get back on track with our standard fare. Anyway, guys, see you next time. Thanks for joining, and if you haven't, please consider liking and subscribing and all that good stuff. Walsh and I will see you soon. Peace.